Hello and welcome to the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. It's October 28th. It's a Thursday, 2021. Happy Thursday, everyone. We are back. Very excited to have returned. And it's your boy Crypto Jack coming to you live this afternoon. Whoa, what am I doing? I got everything broken here. I'm in the wrong scene. Much better. Yes, we're back, guys, and of course today is a very special Thursday. Your boy Justin Wise is joining me on the air today. Justin, my man, how are you this Thursday afternoon?
Hey Jack, good to hear from you, my friend. Good to see everybody here in the chat room today. It's a beautiful Thursday. It's a good day. We've got some reversals here on Bitcoin's price we're going to talk about. A lot of interesting stuff in the news too before we go into a nice weekend. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Of course, Thursday, so the week's kind of coming to a wrap-up. Bitcoin springing up once again. The volatility is getting wild, right? I go to bed yesterday. I think Bitcoin dipped pretty hard below 60. I think we were in the 58 range. I get up this morning and we're back above $61,000 on Bitcoin. Nice little bounce. Bitcoin we had like a 6% bounce intraday. The volatility, are you guys getting caught offsides? I bet a lot of traders are probably flip-flopping into different positions amidst all this market panic. Hopefully nobody here getting caught offside. Of course, we got some quality TA coming your way in about 30 minutes or so. So if you were one of the unfortunate victims that got liquidated amidst the flurry of market activity, price action, well, hopefully we'll correct. We'll get you on the right path today. Justin Wise is going to be in the analyst's hot seat. Very, very exciting, guys. Sorry for going a little late today. My desktop clock was off by about 2 or 3 minutes, so we're a couple of minutes behind, but I'm certain we will catch up. We do, of course, have a very exciting 90 minutes in store for you today, guys. We're, of course, going to take a look at some news today. We're going to hop into the bubbles. Alts are looking mighty green today. Yesterday was the sea of red. Apparently it was worth buying, including notable meme coins. Yes, it's the year of the meme coin. Two doggy coins apparently jockeying for position in retail's hearts. Apparently, we're going to get into the alt gains today. We're of course going to shout out the audience before indeed we get into the technical analysis component of the show. And yes, we're even going to open up a D-Live chest for you today and get to your requests. So another exciting update in the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update series. Let's go ahead and get into a few news items I have logged for today. This first one comes from the Daily Hodl, and it's titled Crypto Exchange FTX buys Super Bowl advertising slot to be seen by nearly 100 million people. All right, this isn't too remarkable, but I do love shouting out FTX and these crossovers into the sports world. Frequently on the show, guys, and this is just another such example. Digital asset exchange FTX is reportedly bringing crypto to the next Super Bowl. I'm sure no one here is surprised. According to Bloomberg, the exchange just bought an advertisement slot for the February 13th event for an undisclosed amount. The NFL's championship game is one of the most viewed events in America, and FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried says that the massive audience is what prompted the exchange to pursue a commercial spot. Reed said, "Our message throughout this year has been that crypto is safe, accessible, and ready for the mainstream. We're inviting everyone to check it out, and we're here to help them on their journey. There's no bigger, more mainstream event to share a message like this than the Super Bowl. The previous Super Bowl had attracted, obviously, over 100 million viewers, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea." FTX, of course, earlier this year, bought the naming rights to the NBA basketball Miami Heat Stadium earlier this year, among quite a few other notable tie-ups, guys. We have, of course, been updating you on all this throughout this year. FTX, just another big leap into the sports world. So many eyeballs, so many people out there waiting to be courted by the crypto swan song. Thank you, FTX, for bringing it to sports fans everywhere on a continuing basis. Now I just wait for the Crypto.com story to come out next week, saying that they too bought a slot during next year's NFL Super Bowl. So something to look forward to, guys. I love seeing normies, sports ball fans introduced into the crypto space, and wow, this is a great way to do it in the big way. All right, let's continue. I got another story here. This one's quite a bit bigger. Blockworks reporting on MasterCard and how it's preparing to set its network up for a CBDC. Say it ain't so. Let's have a look. What is this about? MasterCard is focused on facilitating crypto investments as well as readying its network for central bank digital currency. CEO Michael Maybach said during the company's third quarter earnings call on Thursday, quote, "We could not have an earnings call without talking about crypto," Maybach said when asked about the space. "We see significant volumes in terms of people actually investing in crypto and selling crypto. So as an asset class, there's going to be a lot going on, and I think we have a role to play in facilitating consumers that want to do that." MasterCard most recently partnered with digital asset platform BAKKT to make it easier for merchants, banks, and fintechs in the U.S. to embrace and offer crypto solutions and services. Excuse me. Maybach noted that the most likely chance for crypto to be used as a payment method will be through a government-issued central bank digital currency. MasterCard will make its network ready to handle CBDC if and when that happens, he added, writing, "How will the government test that? How will a country figure out between a private and sector banks and the governments how to do this?" he asked. "That's where our sandbox comes in. We can provide a safe space for governments and private sector banks to figure out how that would actually work. Should there be a private sector stablecoin, we might also do that," Maybach added, "but we have very strict principles on when to do this and when not." MasterCard, of course, recently acquired crypto intelligence firm CipherTrace back in September. The firm previously said the purchase would enhance its crypto capabilities for insight into more than 900 cryptos being monitored by CipherTrace, also funded by the Department of Homeland Security. And yeah, so here's MasterCard signaling that they're ready to get in bed with CBDCs. They want to bring the CBDCs to, well, I guess payment terminals, payment processors everywhere. And yes, the water's good. Come on in, I guess MasterCard's saying. Solid development. All right, I don't have much more to add on this. Maybe Justin has any thoughts. If not, we're gonna continue. Go ahead.
I guess a couple things. First off on the FTX thing, it just goes without saying that FTX is just absolutely crushing it. I do like to see that. There's this kind of school of thought that maybe publicity is bad for cryptocurrency. A lot of people actually do believe this, whether or not they know it really, or whether or not that's a popular opinion, that all this publicity in the mainstream is bad and that cryptocurrency needs more time to maybe develop in the shadows a little bit. Very similar to how Bitcoin became such a robust network in the first place. Was Antonopoulos says this a lot about how the reason that Bitcoin is quite indestructible is because it was allowed to grow in the shadows for a long time, and it was ignored for a long time before anybody could do anything about it. Now it's so distributed. But in this case, I really like to see at this stage, I think that the stage is set for cryptocurrency to really start getting in more mainstream investors, more mainstream individuals, just holding it, experimenting with the networks. And I think this is what's actually going to help fuel a lot of development for small things that people have wanted. For example, people have asked, well, why is the Lightning Network taking so long to deliver? Because there's not a lot of retail investment and interest in it, to be quite honest. A lot of the demand and desire for the Lightning Network, for example, comes from current users of Bitcoin, not really from the, there's not a lot of there are a few, but there's not a lot of startups. There's not a lot of VC going into that, regardless of what people might think, relative to what's going into Ethereum and other things of that nature, because there's just not a lot of money to be seen in it, or maybe the case hasn't been made strongly for it. But this is good. This is going to increase competition, like you said, Jack. I think it's going to be cool to see Crypto.com vying for a spot on there as well. Just kind of get that active competition to get eyeballs and users. And keep in mind, the more active users we have of cryptocurrency networks, the more price stability we have, and that can be a good or a bad thing depending on where you sit on that. It's safer, certainly for PTP traders. There's less whipsaw, but it's less attractive for reversal traders or high volatility traders looking for that high vol coming in at those different moments. As far as MasterCard goes, this isn't a huge surprise. The acquisition of CipherTrace is concerning from a privacy standpoint, certainly. But that is just going to be the nature of the beast. The onus is on us as individuals to not be lazy, to not be uneducated, to do our research, and to support the projects, networks, and companies that are enhancing privacy, that are enhancing security, that are not going the route of Google. It's really hard to dethrone a dinosaur or a monster like MasterCard. Honestly, I don't really think that's the way to do it. I think the way is going to be peaceful transitions into more productive services for society, in my opinion. But yeah, this isn't a huge surprise, and CBDC should not come as a huge surprise unless you've been living under a bridge. So that's about really all I have
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, it's clear that this corporate payment processing juggernaut signaling, along with a lot of the industry, that we're preparing to embrace CBDCs. I feel like CBDCs will very well arrive on the scene before we even expect them to just be here one day, and suddenly the likes of MasterCard, Visa, and others are just going to be like, yeah, we've got all the payment rails ready for this new era in fiat digital money. I think it's just going to spring forth one day, guys. We'll just wake up one day and CBDCs will be getting announced by, your local governments, and of course, you'll have people like MasterCard and Visa standing up to say, oh yeah, we've got the networks already built out, guys. We got you. Don't worry. We will be here for this new generation in money. I think that's what it's all setting up to, guys. So I'm just saying, prepare, because it's coming sooner than later. As much as I'd love to preserve privacy, guys, I don't think we're going to be able to have our cake and eat it too. But we'll see. This is all developing, of course. Let's get into another story here, guys. It's about time to get into the next piece. This one's titled Coinbase hits #1 spot in Apple's US App Store. This comes from the blog Crypto. And indeed, this is just another subtle reminder that times are good and retail interest is probably hitting highs again. Crypto exchange operator Coinbase's mobile app has hit the #1 spot in Apple's US App Store, making it the most downloaded iOS app in the US over the last several days. Is this signaling for anything, guys? Is retail, at least in the US, getting warmed up again, getting heated up and excited about crypto? What could be behind it? Is it, as this article points out, is it SHIB? Is it the SHIB market cap? Something tells me it's SHIB, guys. I have noticed an absolute retail euphoria concerning SHIB, much like Doge, much like what we saw with Doge. And something tells me I suspect a lot of these new users signing up to this Coinbase app, downloading and signing up for Coinbase, something tells me they're doing that to ape in on SHIB, not so much Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin. It's a shame, really, but congrats to anybody holding SHIB, and congrats to all of you people flooding into SHIB and Coinbase for helping facilitate this degen behavior of trying to get into SHIB after it's already pumped, 800x in the last couple of weeks? Yes, it's quite something. All right. Not much more to add on this, but indeed, there's a sign that retail is aping back into the space. This could be one of them. All right, let's get into this next piece. Comes from Finbold, and it's titled SEC reportedly not approving a leveraged Bitcoin ETF. The US SEC will reportedly not approve a leveraged Bitcoin exchange traded fund. Sources close to the matter indicate that the regulator has directed at least one asset manager not to proceed with plans for this investment product, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. The sources claim the SEC's goal is to limit Bitcoin-related investment products, focusing on those that offer unleveraged exposure. The SEC, this is a quote, has been asked to at least one asset manager to not proceed with plans into a leveraged Bitcoin exchange traded fund. The SEC indicated it wants to limit new Bitcoin. Yes, this is a quote that I basically already summarized. This comes with Valkyrie Investments. This comes after Valkyrie Investments filed with the SEC to offer a 1.25x leverage Bitcoin futures. The firm is among investment companies leveraging the crypto sector's growth, aiming to provide new investment products. All right, so of course, we saw SEC's approval of the first Bitcoin ETF just last week, and the move resulted in Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs. And yeah, of course, SEC over the years has maintained a hard stance on Bitcoin. But for anybody who thought that them softening, following the ETF launch, thinking that they might even bring you a leverage product, not so fast as the SEC today. Even Valkyrie's 1.25x product got shot down. That's not even a lot of leverage. But hey, I understand it. These regulators are quite conservative when it comes to these types of things, and Lord knows Bitcoin has got some epic volatility. I can completely understand why even a paltry 1.25x leverage might be enough to scare off regulators, given what Bitcoin's price is known to do, right? Any thoughts, Justin? You think we'll eventually get a leveraged Bitcoin ETF in the US?
Oh, I mean, we absolutely will eventually, but just I guess speaking broadly here, you know, I'm not sold. I actually don't think that I actually support this decision. I don't think that a leveraged ETF is a good thing right now. I'm actually not a huge fan of the futures ETF. Um, you know, as someone who has put a lot of stake and has done a lot of work in the Bitcoin community, I think that a spot ETF is obviously the best thing, and therefore it's not surprising to me that a spot ETF wasn't approved, especially around this time in the market cycle. I mean, keep in mind this is all connected, and this is all a long plan. It's not necessarily conspiratorial. It's not necessarily evil or malicious. It's as simple as individuals who have a hustle that's bringing them in a lot of money know very well how to continue that hustle and how to make it expand and grow. And they are terrified of things that could replace them and instantiate new forms and processes of doing things. So this is very much linked to the MasterCard thing. We all see the writing on the walls for what's coming in the future, which is CBDC. And it's not, it seems like, from what I can tell right now, and I hate using this term because it sounds conspiratorial, but just the powers that be, but by that I don't mean like these evil, shadowy Illuminati figures. Life is really not that exciting. By that I just mean just the instantiated corporations and businesses and individuals working in the space. They have a vested interest and a future plan to compete passively against cryptocurrencies and the offerings they have right now for digital currency, let's say at least. So the CBDC is going to be the competition against any cryptocurrency that could be called or be utilized as a method of exchange, as a unit of account, and whether that be Bitcoin or whether that be Nano. I know there's a lot of Nano bulls out there. Nano has no fees, and it's often heralded as a great P2P cash system. Whereas, obviously the case being made right now is a little bit more for Bitcoin as a store of value and digital gold. But I think that that's really due to its large price appreciation. If Bitcoin were to go sideways for 5 years, I think the argument as a store of value would go away. However, there's an argument for that too. Store of value, if it goes sideways, stays in a good range. Okay. So leveraged ETF, likely not a good thing. Leveraged ETFs tend, and you can just go look at this, like just look at any normal ETF, they tend to trend down. And this is just by the very nature of their leverage. Doesn't matter if it's up or down, doesn't matter if it's an up or down contract. Go look at the gold ETFs, and that, for example, like GLD, and then go look at spot gold. It looks quite different. So I am for them not approving this currently, and of course we will have one in the future, because leveraged ETFs are really, they are opportunities for the ETF proposer and for the fiduciaries to get their hands on a large pile of money and hold a fractional reserve of the underlying asset to cover their deposits. That's what a leveraged ETF really is. It is a money-making scheme from the ETF proposers and from those who put the plan together, and their fiduciaries and their investors. It is not typically good long-term for the retail investor. They can be very helpful for quick-term, redistributions. But honestly, like just simple things that, like, my dad told me, right? Like, if something's worth doing, you do it right the first time. So if you want to diversify your portfolio, if you want to step into a sector, then do it right and buy the underlying asset. I know ETFs are attractive because they're easy, but they're not designed to actually be good for the retail investor in the long term. You want to just bite the bullet, buy the underlying, and do what rich people do, which is buy something that's valuable and hold on to it for a long time. To time travel. It takes something right now that's not considered valuable and travel into the future with it to when everybody else realizes how valuable it is. And you're rewarded for that, because it takes bravery and courage.
Indeed. But as Gary Gensler, SEC chief, cited, Volatility-linked leverage ETFs incurred massive losses in 18 due to the market correction, and investors lost significantly. Yeah, guys, as long as the memory stays with us of the great meltdowns, and there's been quite a few. This is crypto after all. It's not likely that they're going to approve one, but as Justin just explained, there really isn't a need necessarily for one right now. Yeah, and I think it's good that we're growing. We need to go slowly and definitely not up. We've already upset the apple cart to some degree, guys. We don't need to go tipping it over all the way. So let's just kind of count the current ETFs as a win, and we'll see what future brings. Let's go ahead and get to the next piece. We got a couple of minutes left in the news segment, guys, and we're going to get into the bubbles next. Let's have a look. Just a brief update. Ethereum 2's Altair upgrade goes off smoothly with 98% of nodes now upgraded. The Altair update will introduce the beacon chain to the Ethereum mainnet. The Ethereum 2.0 Altair beacon chain update has gone off with a successful start. Most nodes accepting it today. Activated successfully. First upgrade to the beacon chain since it went online back in December 2020, and it's likely the last before the merge with the Ethereum mainnet and the change over to proof of stake. Yeah, this is quite the milestone in the road to 2.0. We have, of course, touched on this quite a few times, including a few weeks ago when we first talked about the Altair update. Well, it appears to have gone through. It brings light client support to the core consensus, and it cleans up the beacon state incentive, fixes some issues with the validator incentives, and steps up punitive parameters penalties for offline validators, that is, per the Ethereum improvement proposal. So a bunch of stuff under the hood, guys, getting tweaked, but it is quite a substantial upgrade to the beacon chain on the road to 2.0. As I've already stated, we are getting there. When will we actually get 2.0? Let's see here. Ethereum developers will be breathing a sigh of relief as their successful upgrade means full steam ahead to merged, and the aim is to be ready for a switch off proof of work forever by February 2022. Well, extremely ambitious. I am quite psyched to think that by early next year we could be executing our transactions on Ethereum via proof of stake. Crazy. I thought this would have, I've heard bona fide experts in the space say this is going to take much longer, but hey, maybe that was all FUD. We're going to get 2.0 by next year. I'm a little dubious of the February timeline, but let's just call it next year. And wow, things are happening. Let's continue. There's not a whole lot more to add on this. Links, of course, to every news item are always in the description below. If anybody wants to follow up a little further, do give those a click. All right, we got another minute or two left. I'm going to cover my last story or two, and this one is coming from Crypto Briefing. Forget Bitcoin and Ethereum. Crypto traders are piling into DOGE coins. Yeah, this kind of dovetails from that Coinbase app, #1 in the U.S., in terms of downloads. You think those people are swarming to Coinbase to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum? I don't think so. As this article points out, DOGE coins are back in demand. On-chain data suggests Dogecoin could be the next one to reap major benefits. Is Doge on the come up, guys? SHIB, of course, stole a lot of the thunder from Doge in recent days and weeks. But if I just take a glance over at Bubbles, Doge is having a knockout day today. I think it's one of the biggest gainers today, actually. So these two doggies now jockeying for position in their hearts, I guess, of traders, as I said earlier. But this article touches on the crypto market taking renewed interest in Dogecoin themes, such as Shiba Inu, Floki Inu. Yeah, someone requested Floki yesterday, or is it Floki? Floki on the show yesterday. Samoyed coin, never heard of that one. Is that a dog as well? Samoyed? Samoyed is
Smiling Sammy. It's a Samoyed.
Samoyed. All right. Never heard of that particular dog breed. I'm gonna have to Google that shortly. Dogecoin have all soared over the last few days. Dogecoin. All right. So basically, what I'm getting, guys, is you name a dog. If you haven't quite released an Inu coin yet, now's the time to do it. Apparently, Dogecoin's risen by more than 40% in the last 10 hours. Could potentially run toward 47 cents. Dogecoin resumed its upward trend as canine coins are soaring again. All right, I'm not going to indulge this article much further, but Justin, if he is generous, might touch on some of the big gainers of the day, and that is, in fact, Doge. Congrats to anyone holding these pups in their wallet today. All right.
Go long on German Shepherd coin.
Yeah, that's a serious dog for serious people, and unfortunately, this thing is. this is not the Shiba thing is not that serious yet.
We got the dachshund coin? Yeah, the dachshund coin.
Another one for us distinguished.
The wiener dog coin.
Yes, we got dignified coins for you guys. We got ones less so. But with that said, let's get into one of the last stories of today, guys. We covered quite a few today. Today's kind of a busy day for news. Let me just touch on this one here. Loopring GitHub suggests GameStop has bigger plans for crypto and NFTs. Yeah, this isn't just a theory anymore. Apparently, GameStop remains tight-lipped on its restructuring plans, but leaks and job postings show they are going big on blockchain tech. This is this idea that GME is not quite the dinosaur business it once was. Is it in fact preparing to like a phoenix to rise out of the ashes and kind of rebuild itself as a completely new type of digital brand? And in this case, a leak in the Loopring GitHub public repository shows a partnership deal with GameStop for an NFT marketplace that could be on the cards. Interesting, eh? Interesting. Copy or Loopring coming through with a solution for GME. The amended code in the branch of NFT dev under the GitHub commit titled NFT feature makes reference to a GameStop meta and an IPFS URL. The IPFS, of course, distributed system, blah, blah, blah. And GameStop is now hosting their first NFT project reveal on IPFS. All right, that's pretty cool, guys. So this is the future for GameStop. This is how I guess it sees itself remade in this new world, guys. An NFT retailer. So just, guys, NFTs are clearly huge because now we're seeing Coinbase, Binance NFT, who was another one recently mentioned. Either way, they're just, these marketplaces just keep springing forward. It is an devilishly exciting and I guess fee-rich, profit-laden new opportunity in the space. And now even GameStop going to be getting down with the NFT and even crypto futures. Could you imagine? Oh, futures, but crypto products in the future, maybe coming to GME locations near you. That would be wild. I feel increasingly like I'm waking up in a dream. You know, it's like my future self has arrived in this world where, like, you know, you go to the mall not for games, not for physical games. You buy the games on disc, but now you get your digital currency at a physical store from the mall. I don't know. This is getting crazy. Of course, GameStop. Shout out to them and Loopring, I guess. All right, it's 1:30, guys. This is pretty much all we have time for the news. I'm going to add one more story. Maybe we'll get into this another time. Unless Justin is excited to maybe touch on this. It comes from the Western Journal. And this is something we talked about yesterday. The title is Spending Just $28 a Day Could Make the IRS Spy on You Under the Dems Surveillance Scheme. So we talked about this yesterday when we were talking about PayPal, just making payment process. All this stuff is changing. It's getting increasingly more surveilled, increasingly more KYC and AML coming everywhere. And before, it used to be like 10 grand, right? If you moved more than 10 grand in and out of an account, that kind of required, I think, the bank kind of making a filing with the IRS or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, the 10K thing. But recently, this is something we talked about yesterday, of course, was the Biden admin wants to give IRS more surveillance power, supposedly in the name of stopping tax evasion. The plan is unclear and met with major opposition. Again, we kind of previewed this. We've been talking about this on the show quite a few times now. Back earlier in October, the CBS News reported that bank accounts with $600 and $600 individual purchases will be monitored. There was understandable backlash about the $600 threshold, which makes sense. I mean, $600. I mean, that's ridiculous. And it was raised to 10,000, right? That 10,000 number that many people are used to for many years. Before eyebrows are raised, right? But what exactly does that threshold mean? Does it mean that any account with at least 10,000 in it will have its deposits and withdrawals monitored? Does it mean that any individual or withdrawal or deposit of at least 10 grand will be monitored? Or does it mean that you'll be monitored if all your deposits and withdrawals, so basically all your banking activity adds up to 10,000 within a year? Republican Representative Dan Muser of Pennsylvania seems to think that the threshold means that all of your transactions adding up to 10,000 in 1 year will qualify for the IRS to spy on your finances. According to the user, if you spend an average of $28 a day, along with which is the average for nearly every American, you will be monitored. Here is a tweet from the congressman. Now, of course, this, of course, depends on this very critical, take on 10,000, right? Is this 10,000 annually, a year? Nonetheless, still, whatever it is, the proposals are for more surveillance, not less. The proposals are for lowering potential, limits before the IRS might start monitoring your activity rather than raising them, right? So, between just the general vibe in the air right now, guys, of the Dems looking to raise taxes in order to fund more spending, surveil more, whether that's through actually raising taxes or merely just trying to collect more through being more strict, such as stuff like this, like we're seeing here. Crazy times, and now we got the CBDC on the way. I feel like we're heading toward somewhat dystopian future, guys. It's going to be hard to keep any of your activity unmonitored, especially now with the government basically saying that anything over $600, which really isn't a lot, guys. I don't know why $600. I mean, this is pitiful. $600, really. If this is what it takes for the government to get involved in your business, is simply a $600 transaction. What kind of future do they have planned for the average American? What kind of spending habits will you have? Will you even be spending money much more, or will you just be getting your weekly allowance or ration in the form of an Amazon gift card or a Walmart gift card from the government? What do they have planned for us? This is a good question. Why do they want to surveil such petty amounts? It's all quite disappointing. But nonetheless, guys, that's one way to wrap up the news this Thursday afternoon. I'll give Justin the opportunity to drop his 2 cents, and I'm going to prepare to get into the next segment. Justin, what do you think? Are they getting monitoring crazy on us, or what?
I mean, yeah, this is just a natural trend that we've seen, over and over again. And, in the development world, obviously in the world that we just live in, this is just going to be a continual struggle that we have to deal with. As I said, we can't be complacent and lazy, because there are powerful systems instantiated right now, just like the MasterCard thing, just like the ETF creators, just like the individuals that are currently in government. And it's not that these systems necessarily in and of themselves are evil. It's not necessarily that these systems in and of themselves can't work. I guess on that note, of course, the current structure of government in our lives as human beings on planet Earth is not the pinnacle of what we can accomplish. It's not the pinnacle of what we can achieve. We really have, obviously there's lots of individuals who are forward thinkers. There's lots of individuals who have proposed hypothetical societies. There's lots of cool information that's actually coming out more and more that are kind of I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not, this is kind of an unpopular word, but when they go back and kind of change, our current understanding of history.
Oh, revisionists?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's cool revisioning going on. Lots of that. Some of that's bad. Some of it's good. There's some good evidence to show that, for example, in the past, kind of this idea has been that, the progress of society has been, from from kind of hunter-gatherers to the invention of agriculture, to then, once we had agriculture, to forming cities, and then forming society, and then forming specialization jobs, and then forming governments and hierarchies. But as we learn more and more about history, as we kind of go back and look at evidence that wasn't in the books for the last several hundred years, we tend to see that actually societies have shown lots of evidence of moving back and forward between different social structures that are more or less egalitarian. And what that means practically is that we can choose, we have the power as humans, as individuals in our societies worldwide, to change our course. It's never too late. And we have, especially with the power that technology gives us, we have, with a computer and a keyboard, and with the distributed internet, we have the power to make solutions, programs, algorithms that just can completely change the way we live life. Now, obviously, there is danger in that because, for example, just like we were talking about in this article, imagine a dystopian future where everything is monitored by automatic algorithms. that maybe are a step into artificial intelligence, just automatically running these algorithms, monitoring every single transaction. Physical. By physical, I mean people with guns. Restrictions are put in place so that individuals are not allowed or disincentivized from using systems of payment that are external to the instantiated or approved government payment systems, i.e. CBDCs. So all of that is an absolute possibility. And that is a future that we might see if we're complacent, if we're not actively supporting decentralized projects, open source projects that are just different. So, I think that although there's a lot of danger, that is what it means to be alive. Like every single second that you're alive and breathing, you're stepping forward into the unknown. And I see that on a bigger picture for society. We have the option to change. We have the ability to change, and it's up to us. So you guys need to be, I don't want to say careful, but you guys need to be, what you choose to believe in and what you choose to promote is important. Every single one of you.
Yeah, it kind of in regards to what you were saying, maybe I do feel there's a bit of a, I don't want to call it a regression, but almost like a regression of sorts, because, for thousands of years, most humans lived pretty much a subsistence farming life. Pre-industrial revolution, most people lived a very low-tech, measly existence that probably involved farming of some kind or another, right? Then came industrial revolution, and it wiped out thousands of years of what humans were kind of used to, and everybody had the ability to kind of leave behind the grueling, I guess, farm life, move to the city, and kind of pursue, the dream, the American dream, in a lot of ways, right? But now what I'm finding is that this is coming full circle. I see people actually starting to flee to cities, flee the fast pace, city life, and looking to set up again. Maybe I see a lot of people homesteading, a lot of people returning to kind of country vibes. You've seen this with people like, I think one person comes to mind, Jeremy Clarkson, famous dude who recently, he's got like a new show where he's kind of homesteading now, and I see lots of people, notable people that I follow that have done something similar, getting into that. Even I like thinking of that, and I've noticed there's a lot of people. It goes to show you that the Industrial Revolution, the city life was attractive for a while, but now humans, and thanks to technology, you can kind of return to maybe a more basic farming life, but thanks to tech, you can potentially still, be connected and work from a more remote location. The internet, all these things provide more opportunities. So it's like, people indeed are using kind of tech and kind of finding a way back. Like some of the solutions are actually, I think, back in time in terms of like general human satisfaction and all that, right? I think the current grind, the current existence is just, it's not great. And a lot of people who, as soon as they have the financial freedom to get away from it, I think you're seeing them leave the cities and pursue a different kind of life, different pace of life. Crazy to think the times we live in, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
And as long as I just want to say one thing,
Yep.
like you're absolutely right, Jack. And as long as things like social mobility, like class mobility, is still very egalitarian, like it is in the United States. So there's a lot of class mobility in the United States. It's very, like this is almost a misnomer, but it is not impossible. In fact, it's not even statistically hard to be born into poverty and end your life wealthy. It's not impossible. In fact, it's not even hard. There's a few simple things that statistically you need to do to accomplish that. Like this is something that I've talked about for a long time. This is the way that I'm living my life. Like I was an early investor, well, so to speak. I started my cryptocurrency journey headlong in 2016, and obviously that's done well for me. And that money, the wealth that I've been able to accrue, it's not for me, so to speak. Like obviously I am the steward of that money right now, but I'm a family man, and my family is very important to me. So I'm not doing anything spectacular, people. I'm just copycatting what I've seen powerful and wealthy people do, which is they make a plan that spans generations. They make a plan to do something that you could never dream of doing on your own, but you need multiple generations of individuals working to do this. So you have to build legacy wealth. You have to have power.
That's true
you
wealth.
have to have influence.
That's true. That's true wealth, guys. And unfortunately, I think we're living in an era where we're seeing that done away with. This is the the Carl Schwab the World Economic Forum future that we're heading into, the "you will own nothing and you will be happy" type future. We got to, what you're describing, Justin, is kind of the old world way of doing it, right? People aren't really having families and doing it that way anymore. People are now increasingly having fewer children, no families at all, and looking to just live a minimal existence, survive off the government dole in a lot of cases. And I think the government is more than happy to provide that, guys. So really, if you want to live like a king, do exactly what Justin just described. You got to carve out your own, and you got to put in a multi-generational plan in order to secure that and preserve that. All right, with that said, guys, we could talk about this forever. I absolutely love kicking it with Justin. Great topics, great conversations as always, but we are pretty much about 15 minutes behind, so
yeah,
we're rolling, guys. Gonna breeze through this next segment. Checking out the bubbles real quick. Doge, like I said earlier, have a knockout day. Safe Moon is up 30% today. A couple other smattering here of double-digit gainers. MATIC, Curve, ENJ all up a little over 10%, as well as a bunch of smaller gainers today. CRO is up 7%. Good day for CRO. Mana, Nexo, HNT, Luna, Rev, BNB, ACS1, and more all up about 5 to 7%, guys. Decent day in the alts. Turned up decently well today. Let's go ahead and get into the audience engagement. Who's kicking it with us in this afternoon? We got Profit Bear, and he says it's Justin Wise, the Owl Day. Very good. Profit Bear, certainly certified OG of the chat. Shoutouts to you. Please tell us Bitcoin's going to moon just like SHIB. I'll get into that in just a minute. Crypto Caveman's with us. He says, is Justin Wise back or what? Yes, the Mr. Justin Wise is in fact back. Shoutouts to Crypto Caveman. Mr. Ether Robert Warner's with us with the money sign smiley. Thank you very much. Anthony Littlewood, we are still over 9,000. Yes, we are. The famous Justin Wise over 9,000. We are still here. Adachi Woo-woot. All right. No, Justin. No, he's here. Shoutouts to Justin, Mr. Ether, Robert Warner, Ethereum. Yes, the Ethereum rules all. Isaiah, hi all. Shoutouts to you on DLive. Crypto Caveman, holy, it's Mr. Wise himself. Yes, it is. Welcome back. We have, where the hell have you been? Well, he's been doing his, and he's back, and we're very excited to have him. Mr. Ether, I'm in the hedge. All right, smart thinking, Mr. Ether. I do think so as well. I am thinking of rehedging what could be a baseline kind of rejection from below. Let's see here. Biological clock should tell you it's the stream time. Indeed, we are quite regular on time every day. Crypto Caveman,
like Metamucil, baby.
Yes, waiting for that reference. Crypto Caveman, the crypto world has missed you, my man. Yes, it certainly has, but he's back. Polly B, hey folks, hey ho. Shoutouts to Polly B, AJ, sup nerds. Yes, the crypto technical analysis nerds are in the house. Profit Bear nerds have truly taken over. Yes, we are. We are only going to consolidate our power even further. The geeks shall inherit the earth. Crypto Bull knows what I'm talking about. AJI. Justin, if you need to truck to haul your cash around, I do broker freight. Let me know. Shoutouts to AJ. Yes, Justin, if you do need your pallets of cash moved across state lines, AJ is apparently the guy to do it. Profit Bear, I thought it was the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, now you know. Let's see here. Mr. Ether, I'm not a good idea to ask him if he has thoughts. What are you looking for to be short? All right, we'll ask him about the short in just a minute. I'm taking notes. They all want SHIB. Yes, they all want SHIB indeed. Says Crypto Bull. Shoutouts to AJI. See your request. Ron Legato's with us. Xavier requesting XRP. We'll add that shortly. Shoutouts to you. AK, finally, Justin's on YouTube. Yes, he is. Shoutouts to AK on YouTube. Ron Legato, there should be a Shih Tzu coin. Something tells me already is. Surprised if there would be. Mr. Ether, I just did 6K the other day for a car I bought. Mr. Ether splashed 6K on what? A new car? A new truck? Do let us know. Shoutouts to AJ. Let's see here. Any words with us? Shoutouts to you. Fear Greed Index has been down 66 to 100. Yeah, I can see why. That pullback below 60, I'm sure, shook out some people. Cash loss 77. The IRS is nothing on me. Thank God I'm in Europe. Well, if you're in Europe, my man, you got other problems. But yes, the IRS may not have anything on you, but Jimmy Dice, not looking good. All right, well, we'll see. John Fanglietti. Hey, Justin's back. Let's go. Well, shout outs to John. Dr. Crypto himself, indeed. Dr. Wise is in the house. Geezer 1 year. Geezer 1 year? All right, that I'm not sure what that refers to. Moonshine Fuel, they can already monitor everything, pretty much if they want to. Yeah, I think they do, right? Whether or not they can actually decrypt and read or even bother reading everything, that's one thing. But something tells me they're probably recording absolutely everything. Mr. Ether 600 was already the self-employment taxable limit. I see. Can we look in Adam and Tezos? Yes, we will certainly look into that. Moonshine Fuel, shout outs to you, Mike Maker, and I think that's about everybody. Peckham08, I had Doge while I slept, and I awoke, I went into Bitcoin. Oh, happy days. Now I'm in Tezos, let's go. Peckham08, slept overnight with Doge, sold into Bitcoin, doing good. We are all borked. Who are you kidding? Says B-Flow. I don't got to be so pessimistic, but maybe. They're Ritzy on Twitch. Shoutouts to you. Caprica. Hey there, Justin. Peckham08. Paul Robertson. Good to see Justin in the show. It's been a really long time. Yeah, he's back and he's super excited. He's even got the camera out. We'll put him on cam toward the end of the show, guys. I forgot to do that yesterday with Alex as well. We, in fact, are going to be incorporating the webcams. You are going to be getting to know our analysts even more intimately. The cameras are coming back, not just for Justin, but all our analysts will be on the cam soon. For now, though, that's everybody. Shoutouts if I missed you. I do got to get into the next segment. Audience engagement is done with. We are getting into the TA segment. Justin's going to take us through his daily scan, and then we'll get into your requests. Justin, if you could be so kind, let's fire up the screen sharing, and we're getting into that. All right, heading into the main scene very shortly, and here we go.
Ready to rock?
Yes, sir. Fire
All
that.
right.
Fire your screen share.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No problem.
Let's see here. This one here. All right, there we go.
Here we go, guys. We are in the main scene. We have Justin's multi-chart layout in front of you. I am going to start logging all your requests, guys. Justin's going to do a bit of talking for the next bit. I'll be with you in a few.
Just a bit, just a little bit of talking. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Jack, for running us through the news, doing the audience engagement. Of course, thank you guys so much for being here today. It's a nice Thursday here where I am at. It's nice and sunny. Hopefully it's beautiful where you guys are here as well. And kind of some good, beautiful things coming here from the crypto market. So let's start breaking that down. We're going to spend a bit of time on Bitcoin. We'll hop into ETH, and then we'll kind of do an overview of the market before we get into your requests. I do tend to wax a little loquaciously on Bitcoin, but I think there's a good reason for that. Obviously, I enjoy trading Bitcoin the most. It's what I actually do. It's the most active profit that I get day in and day out for my personal trading, but it's also it's a good opportunity for me to showcase not so much exactly what to do, but to showcase how to do what I do. It's a little bit easier, I think, a little bit better for me. Jack, can you resize my screen a little bit, or should I hop out of full screen because I see I'm truncated on the left and the right?
You might be behind on the stream like a minute or so, but I adjusted that, so it should be good. Check back again in a minute or two and should be acceptable.
Yep, no, I see it happening right in front of me.
All
right, cool.
Just fixing that now.
All right, let's get into let's start off here with the weekly Heikinashi. We're looking at BTC USD here on Coinbase. We've got a couple indicators on this chart. We do have the TD sequential. We also have bottom feeder, of course. The bars are in Heikinashi, as I went over. And kind of the benefit of this chart is getting away from the daily, the weekly open and closes from a regular candle bar chart, getting away from pattern trading, getting away from just those things that can often be noise, and just looking overall. We're smoothing things out, and we're looking at what is the larger pattern. What's the larger pattern of what's actually happening through the closes here. So what the weekly chart is really telling us here is something that I pointed out last week. We do have a good thing to see here. Now, I do know but on regular charts and as well as the CME, we weren't able to achieve that weekly close. A lot of bearishness out there in the skies. And I don't want to not make the case for that. One thing that I always say is, of course, no trader is a psychic. This is just as I talked about earlier, the same analogy, kind of stepping face forward into the unknown, being brave and trading what you believe in front of you. But obviously, as a systems trader, when I actually go to put my money in the market, I rely on my day in and day out system. This is more for your investment viewpoint. No, you need to be able to hold long positions, to be able to do these positional trades. You have to have an idea of exactly what environment you're in. So last week, on last week's weekly close, we did break the Heikin-Ashi TDST line. This is the trend. This is the TD support trend line. We have the support level and the resistance level. Obviously, the support level being marked out here currently in the green. This is when we put in a final TD setup, or when we have a completed TD setup. And we also have the red dotted line, which indicates resistance. Now, we did close the weekly Heikin-Ashi above that. The weekly Heikin-Ashi here still looks bullish. We are losing a little bit of momentum here, but that's okay. The best thing that we could possibly see, obviously, anytime we have a breakout, is that massive swing to the upside. Everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see that SHIB, but I've seen it happen in this scenario, exactly this type of involvement, just as many times. So we are on a 4 count of 9 on the TDST. So we could have another 5 weeks of upside here if we continue to open and close above. Now, what we don't want to see is we don't want to see the weekly candle close back below that TDST line. Then we're going to have to reset as far as the weekly goes. But the weekly here is looking good. We did receive the last bottom feeder signal. This is one of our proprietary algorithms for when to buy the bottom, essentially. We did receive this about 5 weeks ago today. So that's good. That bottom feeder signal, if this all completes appropriately, it's going to give you about a 10-week trade. That's a good price appreciation all the way from around the $46,000 level, depending on where you bought in on this weekly candle, all the way up to potentially the low 7s, if not the high 6s. We'll just kind of see how price evolves. We'd have to go look at the actual bottom feeder targets for that particular trade. All right. So that's all I really want to cover there. The weekly Heikin-Ashi, just for overall weekly progression, does look bullish. Moving over to the 3-day chart and just looking at where we're at with important levels. Again, we're putting in a Harami candle on today. Only 2 red candles to the downside here. We do have a regular bar chart here, so not this massive, huge reversal. Again, there's a couple ways this can play out. Of course, we do have this long-tailed doji up here. Not exactly the perfect gravestone doji that you want to see. The gravestone doji would be a little bit more full body, but this is fine. Nothing's perfect. It never, looks the way that you expect or the way that you learn on baby pips. If you want to be a goober. So, but anyways, 2 candles to the downside, coming back down to touch roughly this 9 exponential moving average here on the 3-day chart. We haven't broken any levels. This is still a very constructive chart. This is still a bullish chart. We can see that we've got the 55 well below us, the 21 well below us, and now we're trading above the 9. So as far as the 3-day goes, very similar to the weekly chart, still bullish. No overall signs of trend reversal here. Now, of course, one negative thing to see is, of course, again, just going back to what I was saying, the gravestone doji tapping into liquidity, trading briefly above the previous all-time high, and then coming back down below that. But again, Bitcoin has done this numerous times. Look, we can just let's just look over here, right? Like on the ascension, when Bitcoin was trending to the upside. It happens here, it happens here, it happens here. We do have a pretty steep correction, but again, back down to establish a new level of support in the mid 3s to low 3s, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to see those levels get built. This is a much more constructive market cycle than back in 2017. I will just tell you that. Anybody can see that just looking at the chart. If we go all the way back, let's see here. Let's find, this is 2019. Okay, so we're on Bybit, so we don't actually have that historicity. I do like the 3-day chart here on Bybit. But if we were to look at the Coinbase chart here, you guys can just see much more selling, much more support levels. It's just a much more constructive chart than back in 2017. So it does look like we can have continued upside here, even on the 3-day chart. Now, all of that out of the way, let's go actually look at the daily chart, and then we'll go down a little bit and start looking at actual potential setups for you guys here on the daily. Now, per the PTP trading system here, we're actually not looking for daily swing longs here. Our daily swing longs tend to last anywhere from 3 to 7 days. We're actually not looking for that here. Now, the Hall 60 is not the best. This is just something, I don't know, this might surprise people, but people who have figured this out for quite a while. The Hall 60 through our extensive testing is not the best hedging baseline. If you guys are looking for a hedging baseline, I do recommend something smoother, like the Ellers 60 or even the EMA 60 are typically going to work better. The Hall 60 over a long enough period of time, and by that I mean about a year to 2 years, does generate good positive returns. But the annoying thing is the chop. And you guys are gonna, so I'm speaking to the individuals here who are kind of just dipping their toes into systems trading, not the experienced systems traders, because you guys are gonna figure this out. You've done the work to figure this out. But for those of you who are stepping your toes in, the Hall 60 is not the best hedging indicator on short-term timeframes. And I don't mean by that by the chart resolution, like the 1 day, I just mean within days and weeks and months. However, having said that, if you are using the Hall 60 for your hedging indicator, or even if you're not, you are looking to be safe here, you are looking for positionals here, Bitcoin is going to do a potential rejection from the baseline. So those of you who are feeling contrarian, those of you who are looking for the short from this position, this is going to be roughly the time. You have this span between where the candle's currently trading at. Let's see here. Let me get the label on the chart here for actual price. The last price traded. So we're currently trading here on Coinbase, spot price about 61,170 to 180, moving around pretty quickly today. Some good volatility, even though we're about in the mid-range of volatility. But we do have the baseline currently sitting at about 63. So you've got a nice $2,000 window there to get into your bids. If you are going to be looking for that trade, I highly recommend just setting the limit bid order. You can go down to the lower time frames, look at something like VPSV, look at the visible range, VPVR, something like that, to try to find a good level of liquidity to get into. I would be targeting the low volume nodes. For those of you who don't know about VPVR, if you're premium members, you can go watch the tutorial on that. You're just gonna, I don't have a video on YouTube about the VPVR or VPSV. I've just talked about it at length. So for those of you guys who are a little new, just stick around. You guys will figure it out as we get into this. Now, we did not get an initial short signal because we lacked momentum. All right, we've lacked momentum. We can see that from Wadatar explosion. We actually have a waning explosion level. So the most likely thing here for those of you who are looking for that short, who are looking for that good successful short, and if you are looking for a short, then you're likely looking for price to go back down to the $54,000 level. It's a pretty good correction, $6,000 correction. Of course, as the prices are very high in Bitcoin, those large movements are less percentage-wise. So I'm not really looking for the full market rejection here. I think there's just too much bullishness in the air. We've got a lot of good things coming in the future. This is not really a sell the event. I know that, again, fear and greed index has gone down. Actually the futures, the premium on futures is not skyrocketing, was not skyrocketing at the top. It got a little bit high, but this feels like a good orderly correction for me. So just me personally looking at this chart, I am looking for price to consolidate here, cross back above the baseline and continue. Again, equal opportunity of getting that dip to 54,000. And if WADA does start to signal momentum here, that is a trade I am going to take per my system. But overall, I don't actually see any trades on the table with the exception of the reversal baseline rejection. That's a good, nice, tight trade for those of you who have back tested that. And for those of you who have experience with that on the daily chart. And again, you'd be looking around, obviously I would be using Quadriga for my targets, but for those of you just shooting in the dark, be looking for that $55,000 to $54,000 area, I think, for a price target on that. That's the previous liquidity pool. There's a good order block down there. We have not retested that level of liquidity. And again, that is previous resistance flipped support. So that's the area that you can see my crosshairs on right now. If you are looking for the short, that's where I'd be looking to take my profit and look for that low back buy-in. Okay. So factors that we want to see here, we want to see our initiator, whatever initiator you guys are using, cross back to the upside, close back above the baseline, and we want to see this positive momentum return. And keep in mind, that's going to happen really quickly because momentum has already dropped pretty low. We can see this right here when price kind of reversed. We see the same gravestone doji right here, not as significant as a correction right here. Price did move sideways, push to the upside. But again, overall, we just consolidated in this area before, again, breaking the baseline and pushing back up. So not a lot of short signals here. There was a trade on the table here to this area. And then again, this would have been just a losing trade. You would have gotten stopped out on this candle. So let's go back. So that's about the daily for us. Nothing on the daily. Let's go look at the lower time frames and see where we're at. We can see over here in the bottom right-hand corner, B-vol is right in the middle right here. So Bitcoin volatility is not skyrocketing. It is not in the lower threshold. What I mean by that, I talked about this in the premium mentoring session yesterday. When Bitcoin volatility is above 0.55, anywhere between 0.55 and 0.6, that's generally when I would look to get out of a trade if you're using that as a congruent indicator or a confirmation indicator. And when Bitcoin volatility is below 0.2, that's when I look to enter into a trade. So ideally, I would like to see price here consolidate. I would like to see B-vol dip back down below 0.2, and then I'd be probably looking for that early entry into the upside trade. Let's look at the hourly. We do have an hourly downtrend that we are attempting to break out of. Again, here's the peak back here on the 21st. It's been relatively downside since here. We have 1, 2, 3 dips, consolidation, and then an attempt to trend break. So what I do like to see here is I do like to see this dip back down below to grab liquidity below this established support level. All the trader stop losses were here. You could see price dipped here. There was a lot of price agreement, a lot of frantic buying here from savvy investors. This is where a lot of retail investors got stopped out of their positions, attempting to buy this bounce upside on the hourly. But again, we do have an attempted trend shift here. We tried it right here. We can see the shorter term moving averages crossing back above the 55 here, and we have the same thing. So for this hourly trend to flip around and give us some more continuation to the upside, we need to see price stay above the $60,000 area here. That's what we need to see moving into the weekend. But again, Friday is coming very quickly. So unless we have another significant high volatility dump right now or on Friday, which I don't actually expect to see. Of course, I'm open to any possibilities. You trade the chart in front of you. I think price is likely going to move sideways from this area. Okay. I think price is likely going to move sideways. So I think the bigger trades here are looking for those swings. There is, again, we are in the middle of volatility. So there is short-term trading opportunities here on that hourly. On the hourly, I'd be going for the upside trade here, looking for price to break resistance if you guys are looking for that trade. Back on the 5-minute, we do have some congruence for that. Again, we're gonna get into this. This is gonna be one of the strategy videos that I'm gonna be making here relatively soon. Look at price on the 5-minute chart. This is that same. This is okay. So just so I can get a little bit more perspective here for you guys. Here's that support level, and right here is where all the trader stops got hit. This was a pocket of liquidity. It was a low volume node where a lot of limit bids got filled. Now that we have traded and appreciated above that, there is a lot of instantiated interest to hold this price level. This is the 59,000 to 60,000 level. We don't want to see price back down below 60,000. We don't want to see that if you guys are looking for the long side trade. Okay, so let's get this zoomed in a little bit more. We do have these big volume spikes to the upside here. And have we seen a big correction here? No, we haven't. Here's what I would be looking for if you guys are looking to snipe an entry on these lower time frame charts. You want to get an entry very much like this, where you have a nice big red candle to the downside. You have this big red volume spike. That indicates seller exhaustion. And if we continue to see these with price holding above that $60,000 level, would be the most beautiful thing you could possibly see in the world if you are looking for that short-term upside trade. Again, just keep in mind, going back to that daily time frame though, there's not a lot of wiggle room between here and the overall controlling baseline right here, which is again at that $63,000 level. So good price distance right there, but not absolutely the best that we want to see. So I would recommend caution in this area. Again, there's a couple options on the table. It's going to depend on your system and you trade the chart in front of you. For me personally, what I want to see here is I want to see this weekly trend. I'm going off the higher time frames here. So looking at the weekly and looking at the 3-day, I see a constructive chart here. So I'm going to be looking for opportunities to get into that. A couple different strategies, obviously, to take advantage of that. You can obviously snipe an entry on the low side on these lower time frames or just on the daily on a red candle and look for that low buy-in maximum return. Or you can wait for the trend confirmation trade, which is what we do in PTP. So for that, again, we talked about it. Close back above the baseline and positive momentum. And just the momentum is not there for the daily short too. Keep that in mind. So the only trade that you have on the table for the short is the reversal baseline rejection. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's get out of this full screen here real quick. I'm going to come over here, flip this up and back into full screen mode. Okay. So looking at Ethereum, we've had some divergence with Ethereum as opposed. We're going to look on Coinbase. We have had divergence with Ethereum. We talked about this the other day. Ethereum doing that reversal baseline bounce on yesterday's close. I was talking about this a little bit yesterday. Reversal baseline to bounce, close, and just a good bullish engulfing candle on Ethereum. I think there's a lot just a lot of positive momentum in the air for Ethereum. Let's go and look at that weekly. Again, weekly chart on Ethereum looks even better. We had this consolidation after this rejection, and then price was able to successfully stay in the baseline territory here and then continue to the upside. And we actually have I'd like to see this nice weekly close back above this level, back above the high close. If this is the high, if we close positively here, then this is a good sign for Ethereum. Keep in mind, note here, the Fisher transform cross up. This is a good positive bullish sign here, as well as the rising momentum on Ethereum. This is kind of setting the stage for continued price appreciation. 35.05 is the level to watch for a weekly trend reversal. Let's go back down to the daily. And again, just a kind of a beautiful, nice, clean look at that. We closed above. We actually closed, you know, it's tricky, but you can see it. This is the beauty of the baseline indicator. You can see that white territory here. We closed above it, and price did continue upwards immediately from that area. So not bad. Good to see.
That was not a whole lot to buy, huh?
That was the spot to buy. Not a whole lot more to say here on Ethereum. We do have that rising momentum. The daily is not giving you the trend confirmation trade to the upside. But if we have another green candle, it is going to be there. And again, same thing, that level to watch on the daily. On the daily, the level that you want to have price stay above is that 39.70. So let's just call it 4,000. We need to price stay above 4,000 on Ethereum, and I think things will be good. So tomorrow might actually be giving you that continuation. If that is the case, I would likely wait until Monday. I would sit out the volatility, or a little bit more snipery. Saturday and Sunday can give you that low dip opportunity to get that better entry into your trade. But we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Sunday will close out the monthly candle as well on Ethereum. So very excited to see how the month and the week will wind things up. Justin, very briefly, could you just full screen your browser again?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right. Maybe close out your thoughts, and then we'll get into the request shortly.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, we're moving into the weekend. We're moving into Halloween. Volatility is there. It's good for the Bitcoin and Ethereum markets. I think there's a lot of good day trades that can still be put in between today and tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of excitement for these meme coins. You guys know my personal thoughts on that tend to be avoid things that you don't understand. So I don't think anybody understands these meme coins. There's only one thing to understand. It's no different from the GameStop thing. You know, it's aping, right? So if you understand aping into something and just going with the strength of the crowd, that's good. If you are a single solitary kind of grind out the trading view chart all day long, chain smoke, caffeine addicted trader like myself, then you typically are going to stay away from those things. But by all means, listen, just play at your own risk, right? There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for these meme coins, but it's just not, it's not the longest sustainable way to make money. Take a little bit that you can afford to lose. We talked about this last Thursday. It's the venture capital investment strategy. You take 10% of your income, 10% of your investment portfolio, and you sprinkle it around into projects that you think are going to do well, and that's it. And you expect 10% of them to play off. You expect 90% of them to fail, 10% of them to do well, and that's just how it works. There's it's not genius. It's nothing new under the sun. They're moonshots. We call them moonshots in cryptocurrency. Traditional finance calls it venture capital investments, high risk assets. Right? And this stuff is rocket science, people. So good luck, guys. All right, let's
Hop in requests. What do you say?
let's do this.
All right. Well, Mr. Ether asked for Ethereum earlier, but Justin has given Ethereum a good look, so that would be Ethereum crossed off the list. Shoutouts to, by the way, CryptoBull21, who just pointed out that Bitcoin's birthday happens to land on the 31st as well. Well, how about that? Bitcoin's birthday bash. End of the month. All right, cool. With that said, wait, hold on. Does that make Bitcoin 10 or 11 years old?
We are 11 years old, brother.
That's right. All right. Very exciting stuff. Happy 11th, I guess, coming up. With that said, guys, we have requests to knock out. Let's do it. First request of the day is going up on the screen right now. Shoutouts to the user AJ of the YouTube chat. Any news with BAKKT? They went up 366% the last couple of days. Can you check their stonk? Ticker symbol BKKT. All right. We're going to open up with a look at a traditional of sorts.
All right, on the New York Stock Exchange, and whoa, we've got this is going to be. It's just kind of funny. I think we're going to be looking at because we're going to be looking at SHIB. Let me look at this request list here real quick. Okay, really only SHIB. I'm not familiar with MER, MATIC and DOT, of course. Got DOT on there twice. But you know, this is just fun to see. This is like the Tesla bullshit, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, where we have that huge candle, immediate down, up. So listen, on the daily, there's a couple things here to say. Let's start off with the daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame, nothing to do here, nothing to see. You're either going to have to be in on the lower time frames, trading this on your Thinkorswim platform, whatever it may be. Alternatively, you know, this is sketchy territory. This is not where I'm in. This is not my area of expertise anymore. So I don't have any fundamental information about this. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Oh, I
in the news,
do.
honestly.
Oh, but I do. I'll let you finish the chart. Look.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's prep on that. So listen, what's always funny to see is just the scope of volatility prior to these candles that just absolutely smash and swerve everything. Interesting. Okay, so interesting things to point out here. We do have on this green candle right here, the initiator going above the zero line with rising momentum and Wadatar explosion. So this is not a trade I would take just because of the potential for loss and because I don't trade things I don't understand. But if price, you know, if the baseline continues to accelerate here, we get this upside momentum, you continue to carry this trade to the upside. I really think, and this is kind of contrary to how I tend to trade, I really do think the greater opportunities here are going to be on the lower time frames, looking for those seller exhaustions, looking for those buyer exhaustions, and just taking the trend of this trade. Again, the main thing to always be worried about here is savvy investors who were able to purchase in at a previous price down in the $8 range, and now they're looking at a 5x on their investment. You know, that's good money in the stock world. It's good money in the stock world. So I don't really have too much to say about this. Again, not a whole lot of historicity on this chart. We are, you know, we are trading above and holding the previous level of resistance. You can see that this appreciation candle did come down and trade right off the top of previous resistance that was established back in February. So if we can hold here at 1974 and see some good constructive action, some good sideways consolidation, getting those older investors out and getting kind of newer investors buying up at those higher prices, yes, of course, this thing can continue onwards. Doesn't seem like we're getting a lot of activity today, but not a lot of strength from the sellers. They're not able to really push price back down a lot. So I think we're seeing the aping, probably the late stage aping coming into this. I guess we'll just have to kind of see how hard Wall Street bets can ape this up. So Jack, hit us. What's the scheme?
Yes, guys. The problem was that we missed a Monday in update. So of course, by missing the Monday install, we neglected to cover this bit of, well, earth-shattering news, if you want to call it that. BAKKT, of course, was reported earlier this week to have entered a collaboration with MasterCard. Right, something we've been talking about earlier today on the show in the news. Yes, this is part of MasterCard's growth strategy. They are collabing with BAKKT. BAKKT, of course, which has really figured out a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the institutional level stuff, right? It's not, you know, if you want to run crypto operations on the level of BAKKT, you can't have an office with just a few technical goons moving everything around on ledgers, right? You need to, you need to create the digital equivalent of Fort Knox, right? If you're going to have a vault, you're going to operate the equivalent of a digital vault, you need to have some very, very robust operations. So I guess what I'm saying is that these tech solutions that BAKKT has built out in the crypto front are very valuable. MasterCard is tapping it along with another firm, which I'm not too familiar with. They're called Fiserv. They're lesser known, but they're actually one of the major payment processor ecosystems on the planet. They do some technical stuff on all the payment rails that run around the world. They supposedly have partnered with BAKKT as well. So this is so BAKKT, I guess, and their architecture will be powering, could be the crypto revolution coming to payment terminals everywhere. That's probably what's behind this giant move. But with that said, back to Justin, let's continue.
Supported by MasterCard, huh?
Indeed, guys.
I call that a little bit less of a revolution and more of kind of like I guess a defeat, I guess.
Not quite. Honestly, this is something that you've been talking about for a long time. Remember just years ago, people were like, well, what about the scaling? What about this, right? And one of the common answers from Justin was, guys, we have the scaling figured out. Just wait for the payment providers to ape in, and they will help us scale. They'll help these settlement solutions. Yes, it might not be the ideal solution to Bitcoin maxis we're hoping for, but guys, this is a great interim, way to get everything moving. With that said, I'm not saying I'm about to spend my Bitcoin just because MasterCard brings payment terminals, that option there, but it's still a great sign toward adoption. With that said, let's go ahead and get to the next request, guys. It comes from Xavier on YouTube, and he writes, hey guys, can we look at XRP XLM for shorts? All right, Justin, please set up the XRP chart for a short.
All right, let's go look at the, I'm going to go look at the Bitfinex chart. Okay, so XRP USD was an asset that we exited out of. We took a couple trades on XRP over the last few. We did have some good positive momentum coming in this area with our Fisher transform rising up. We did hit the oversold level here, and we just weren't able to break. The overall kind of weight of Bitcoin moving down affected XRP USD. We do now have a trend shift on XRP USD. Keep in mind something you want to watch for this, just kind of on the okay, I always have to kind of take this in two terms because I'm really always speaking to two people in the audience. I'm speaking to the people who have gone through the PTP course and who are, who trade in the style that they know makes money in and out daily, consecutively every day. And then individuals who are just watching the show as new individuals or as fans or as people who have even taken the course and developed their own modified systems. There's all kinds of ways to do this. This isn't a one-size-fits-all industry. But for requests, I do want to keep it nice and simple. We do have something different here on XRP USD that we have from BTC USD. And again, we are seeing that divergence in the markets much more as liquidity continues to ramp up here. So what we have on XRP USD is we have this bearish engulfing candle rejecting from the baseline. Almost, I mean, that's a beautiful, even though we didn't close below the baseline, we closed within the Keltner channels, which it's a disqualifier if you're using that option in the system. Good. I do like to see that. That is just a good reversal baseline rejection. Almost what you kind of want to be watching for on Bitcoin if your fundamental bias is to the downside here. But huge bearish engulfing candle here in XRP USD, far more so than in Bitcoin, far more so than in Ethereum. Ethereum moving conversely to Bitcoin anyways right now, and looking at the Ethereum chart actually looking more bullish than Bitcoin, honestly, in my opinion, just on the daily time frame, particularly on the weekly time frame as well, with its continued rise. Of course, the weekly chart on Bitcoin looking good. I digress. XRP USD is actually setting up for a short here. We have rising momentum. We have Water explosion above the explosion level as well. The only thing there's two ways to take this trade. You can be looking for the reversal baseline bounce here up around $1.10. Actually, let's check that out. Anywhere from where we currently are, and we are in the qualifying zone right now. So if you want to be a little bit more risky, you could look to take this maybe tomorrow or wait for the open on Monday to see if the market's going to move the opposite way. Wait for the Monday close, get a little bit more data and information there. Of course, the weekend's going to skew things. But looking for that entry anywhere from like 1.07 to 1.10, so $1.10, kind of honestly the optimal entry area there. And then looking to take that trade to the downside. If you're looking for the trend confirmation or continuation short here, now that we are below the baseline, everything's in play. You just need to wait for your initiator, whatever that may be, to cross back down and give you that initial system. Looking at mine, you can see that we've actually done some crisscrossing here. And what we want to be looking for here is for the Fisher transform to actually cross back down below the leading line and give us that trend confirmation short. Ideally, that would occur right in this area, qualifying line stretching from $1.03, about $1.04, up to where the baseline is at $1.11. So this is gearing up for a short. XRP is looking good here. A couple different ways to take that, as I just elucidated there. And good luck to you guys. XLM USD is the other one as well, you said?
Yes, sir. Stellar Lumens, the two compatriots, opposite rolling together.
Stellar Lumens. Stellar Lumens doing the exact same thing here. The only difference here is XRP is in a better territory for that short because it has appreciated a little bit more on today's price, moved back up into the qualifying zone. We are lacking momentum here for an initial short. So the way I see this likely playing out is this regression back up closer to that 36, 35 cent mark area. We're currently trading at about 34.5 cents. Looking for that regression, that correction back up to that area, likely over Friday and the weekend. I do expect a little bit of upside tomorrow, continuing and then Friday and Saturday kind of being a little bit of chop. And then we'll see which way the market goes on Monday. Again, overall, my idea is that BTC and ETH do continue to the upside, but we just need to wait and see what that candle close actually looks like on that day. So XLM USD not in the position here for a short, not only because of the size of the candle violating the candle body requirement, but because we are below the qualifying line. We just don't have that rising momentum from Wadatar explosion that we want to see. So this one's on the sidelines for me. Again, you guys know the things to watch for here. Looking for that cross back up, cross back down, or if we do get a rising explosion level here, which is not going to happen quickly if price moves back up. It's going to happen if price moves back up slowly, and then we get another large candles at the downside. So that's the continuation short to look for here. I would be favoring for the trade position here. I'd be favoring XRP over XLM all day long.
All right. Oh, a candy button. What is that? That looks at the doorbell on Halloween.
No.
Candy button. Yeah, don't tell your kids about the candy button.
I was gonna say that the candle bar, but
it
gotcha. Came out candy bar.
I heard candy button. Yeah, don't tell the kids about that one. All right, let's get into the next request, guys. What do we have here? We have Adam and Tezos for Cash Law 77 on Twitch. All right, quick look at Adam, aka Cosmos.
All right, Cosmos actually looking pretty good here. Let me reset my chart. There we go. Okay. So obviously Adam's been constructive for quite a while, coming off the lows around $11 to $12. We broke that kind of $15 barrier, broke above this level of resistance. Just scrolling all the way back. Adam's a good project. It's got a lot of backing, got a lot of individuals into it, a lot of good dev. Held that previous level of support. Couple things to watch for here. Oh, we already had that liquidity grab. Let's not speak negatively. Let's just look at what the chart tells us. Adam looks good. Even on that massive correction, wasn't a bearish engulfing, didn't retrace the entire length of the upside candle, just a response to the market. I think that's the volatility that we just currently live with. We only have a 50% retracement right now. I do think that this looks good. Adam looks good. The chart displays this as well. This isn't setting up. This was unfortunately a losing trade if one would have entered here. But again, this is not a candle that one should have entered in on. We can see that when we close that on this this nice bullish candle right here, we completely dwarf the qualifying line. Furthermore, Wadatar explosion has not flipped green yet on this candle bar. So this was not a trade to get in on. The reversal baseline bounce was the trade, and entry yesterday is paying off handsomely. And so what we need to watch for here, you could take this. This is a risky entry right now. This is not the perfect trade. This is not the perfect trade setup for the system, and that's what we wait for. We wait for those trades that are exactly. We wait for those trade setups that are exactly perfect. Those are the ones we take. Those are the ones that win consistently. When we start taking these, well, when we start pattern fitting, well, like this kind of looks good and this isn't quite there, but maybe if we, and this could happen, that's when you're going to have A, garbage data, and B, you're not developing a system. You're not developing a trading system. You're gambling. So this is a constructive chart. I would be watching for, you have two things to watch for here. You have the continuation setup right here. So if Fisher transformed to cross back up to the upside within the next, let's see here, 2 days, that would be a potential trade to the upside. That would be a trade to take to the upside. Right now, this is not in my wheelhouse, but I do like this. For those of you who are, just doing a little bit more traditional trading, patterns, trend lines, blah, all that stuff. This looks good. This is consolidation, a good volumetric break out of that, a correction that, while sizable, has to be taken within the kind of scope of what just happened in the market, which is just the large correction that everything experienced yesterday. Yeah, this looks good. Not a whole lot more to say. Wait for your initiator to give you the signal, and Bob's your uncle.
There you have it, guys. There's your look at Cosmos. So let's get into the second half of the request related to Tezos. I saw a few other people requesting Tezos, so let's give XTZ a look. Yeah, David Wright, shoutouts to you with your XTZ request.
XTZ, USDT. Let's look at Tezos, Tether US. On Binance. Ooh, this is a different chart. Okay. Didn't actually get the short signal on this, and for good reason. The only thing that would have, obviously this would have been a good trade if one would have entered on that break of the baseline. the cross under. The only thing that wasn't there was the rising momentum from Wadatar explosion, and just you can see why. It's because we have all of this massive volatility in here. This absolute insane whipsaw grabbing liquidity above, and because that volatility was just so high there, and because the size of these candle bodies stepping down are so small, it's just the algorithm is not going to give you that rising momentum. That's how it works. So really, the only thing that delivered traders into profit here was that market correction yesterday. This is a good chart to look for the short trade on, the margin trade on XTZ. I know they have the margin contracts for XTZ. You want to wait for price to go back above the qualifying line here. It's going to be around the $6.50 mark. Your span's going to go up there to about $7.10. I can just see from this chart. Actually, I was going to say $7.25. It's actually $7.20, almost right on the nose. So $6.50 to $7 is going to be your entry position here, your area where you're looking for that retracement back into the qualifying area to be looking for that short trade. Looking for other types of setups on this. Again, I think the best trade to look for here is either if we start to see rising momentum here on Wadatar explosion, that would be foreshadowing that there will not be a correction to the upside, that we are going to continue down here on Tezos. And that's going to line up perfectly with where Fisher Transform's already at and what the baseline is already indicating. Not looking for longs on this until we close back above the $7.25 area, closing kind of nicely and cleanly above that baseline. Otherwise, that's going to be controlling resistance at this point in time. But just something to watch out for is just all this volatility that we had over here. You want to avoid this whipsaw as much as possible. So again, the short trade is the trade on the table, but not right now. Your entry is between $6.50 and $7. Barring that, you need to see, unfortunately, kind of the thing that you don't want to see is going to be, the thing that gives you a less attractive entry, and that's going to be the momentum entry. That's what we are. We're really momentum traders, and that's kind of the scope of how PTP plays out to be. Trend following, confirmation, looking for momentum to really give you the signal to get in. That's why we use volume and volatility in our algorithm. So what that's going to look like is another kind of big red candle, and you're going to need a big one. You're going to need a volatile candle to get that rising momentum. However, that might be in the future. We can see that the explosion line has been dropping for the last almost 2 weeks. So we are primed here to see a nice expansion of volume, and I don't really think that candle was the one. That's just kind of the splash over from the market correction that we saw yesterday. So again, looking for shorts between $6.50 and $7, or for Wadatar explosion here to give us that momentum signal to the downside.
All right, shoutouts to Cash Loss 77. That was a look at Adam and Tezos for you. We're gonna get into the D-Live lemons in just a minute, guys. So D-Livians, get ready. I just dropped some lemons in the chest, and let's say, 60 seconds. I'm going to introduce this this next request, and then I'll go open the chest. So prepare for that, guys. Lemons coming your way in just a moment. All right, next request, of course, is going to be Polkadot. Polkadot for Jag077 in the live chat. Would you take a look at Polkadot? He asks. Sure can. The Livians, prepare.
Okay, so just a couple things here. DOT is a more constructive chart than Tezos. There's a couple things here that are interesting. So first off, obviously, DOT's just a good performing asset of the last year or so. I'm not gonna lie, I really like DOT. Just on a fundamental level, I like the development that's going on there. I like Gavin Wood. I like, again, I'm really into the whole, Polkadot, Kusama, Carrara. I'm not in there as much as I would like to be, but those networks are something that I'm actively interested in. Moon River, Moonbeam, those are all really cool projects that I think, all are in the kind of same wheelhouse that I really think are going to be taking off more so than they already are. Maybe perhaps, and when I say that, I don't necessarily mean in price. I really mean as far as development and contributions to these decentralized networks that we're trying to build. But looking at this from a chart perspective, again, we have this correction down below the baseline. No short entry here because we don't have negative. Not only do we not have rising momentum, but we also don't have the necessary negative delta, which is the word for it. The way Wadatar, there's multiple indicators in the background to display everything that's going on with Wadatar explosion. You have the delta, which is going to be the green and red columns. There's always red and green. It's just when red is dominant, you see them. You see a clear red candle, or excuse me, a clean red column. And when positive delta is dominant, you're going to see a green. In addition to that, we have a function similar to average true range, but slightly different in the form of the explosion level, which is monitoring the change, the rate of change of the size of the candle bars. So if we start seeing a lot of small little tiny candle bodies, which is the distance from open to close, we're going to have falling explosion level, falling volatility. If on the other hand, we start to see an increase over time of candle body size, we're going to get an increase in the explosion level, which is telling us that we have rising volatility, and that's just rising explosive power. So we do have our initiator here, Fisher transform, above the 0 line. So we're still in constructive chart here. We're still in bullish territory here. We need price to be closing back above the baseline here. We might be seeing that tomorrow. So again, this is going to fit into, again, looking for that entry tomorrow, depending on how tomorrow plays out, and looking on Monday, I think, to see how that plays out. But again, one thing to keep in mind too, and I should have mentioned this earlier, but it kind of goes without saying, the weekends are a little bit more ripe for altcoin movements. Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to tend to kind of chop around, and that, as we've said many, many times, that really gives the room to the altcoins to run and fly. So this is a good chart to me. I'd be watching this pretty closely. We are going to need a little bit of bullish momentum here. We do need that rising explosion level, but I do like where Polkadot is. We are in the qualifying territory here. Of course, there is the reversal baseline bounce short, but that's not the trade that I see. I see Polkadot doing pretty well here. We'll just see. I mean, there's a couple other factors, but that's what the chart says.
All right, there was your look at Polkadot. Big shout out to Jag077. We are about 90 minutes into the show. Justin, I don't know if you have maybe another 10 minutes to spare. We could knock out a couple more requests, unless you want it to be strict on the time. How do you feel?
Let's do it. Come on.
All right, let's keep rolling, guys. We got quite a few requests to knock out. Here's one from Jason. Jason snuck into the chat, dropped his own request. Midwest Attempts writes, what do you feel about the shooting star candle on the weekly, Justin? All right, I'm guessing this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's weekly shooting star. Well, let's see what Justin has to say.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Let's just pull open the Heikinashi. And let's go over here to candle bodies. I just want to point out a few things. Let's see here. So let's look at previous examples of where we've seen that. So let's do one thing. Let's do one thing first. Shootings. Okay, so for accuracy of terminology here, we don't have a shoot. So, and that this is no, I'm sure it's just an error in translation. This is a shooting star is a pattern. Gravestone doji is the candle. So what we have right here is an imperfect gravestone doji, a perfect gravestone doji, and I'll pull out my paint tool here and turn off. Okay, good. Snap block's off. Perfect gravestone. Snap block here. Okay, a perfect gravestone doji would have that candle body filled in all the way down to the bottom. So ideally, a gravestone doji is going to close below where it opened more definitively, right? We can see here, like, one nice thing about this is when you see these imperfect gravestone dojis, they're not as bearish as a completed gravestone doji, because what it means, what it indicates, is that within the weekly candle, within the time frame that the candle is measuring, price was pushed down to the low that the wick indicates here, the low of 59,522 here on the Coinbase chart. However, before the week closed, so in the 11th hour, price was able to rise back up to where it actually closed above 60,000. The candle did close above 60,000. Now we have a relatively weak candle close here. A shooting star pattern needs 2 candles on the left and 2 candles on the right, which means we won't have a confirmed shooting star pattern until not just this weekly close, but next weekly close. So a shooting star pattern looks like this, goes up, and we have a gravestone. I hate how TradingView is snap locking that. Shooting star pattern goes up, and then we have that gravestone doji right in the middle. It's not letting me draw that because of magnet mode, but I digress. What we do have here is a gravestone doji. Gravestone doji is typically bearish. You guys do know how I feel about price action trading. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I haven't gotten the success that I like to see off of it. For example, like one strategy that I do like trading is on those lower time frames on Bitcoin when I, and this is something that I'm currently in the process of automating. But when I see those large volume spikes and I trade contrarian to the trend, or excuse me, I trade contrarian to the short-term trend, but I trade in the direction of the higher time frame trend. So, for example, I would be looking on shorts on something like the 5-minute chart. I would be looking for price to be kind of coming down and then putting in those big red volume bars. And I've seen those happen on dojis. I've seen those happen on hammer dojis. I've seen those happen on, full-bodied candles. I've seen them happen on so many ways. So, could a shooting star pattern is a reversal pattern. If it completes on the weekly, that's absolutely a trade setup. But just speaking my own personal bias, and this is just what I've noticed. I prefer to look at this. I prefer to look at this. I think it filters out the noise. This is the Heikinashi. It filters out the noise. It tends to be a little bit cleaner, and it tends to give you more positive signals. TV sequential absolutely crushing it. Bottom feeder crushing it on the Heikinashi chart. Those nice breaks of resistance are given time to play out, rather than kind of looking at those candle bodies. That's not to take anything away from that. I mean, obviously the chart on the regular candle bodies display information, and that information is tradable. It's just not the system that I currently have. This is this goes right in line. If we start making the bearish case here, we have the CME weekly close, we have the weekly close here that was lower than the previous high close. All of these factors kind of come in. It's just not what I see. It's not what I see from the trend chart, from the Heikinashi chart. But again,
Yep.
I hate saying this is trading, but only time will tell. But good eye, good pointing that out, and good identification.
For sure, worth visiting indeed, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the next request. We have the following for Augusto FC. Hey guys, can we take a look at MATIC and POKADOT? All right, well, POKADOT we already looked at, but MATIC indeed worthy of a look. Justin, you mind going full screen? And
yeah, and I just noticed that actually.
No problem. Full screen and look at MATIC. Let's go.
Let's look at MATIC now. MATIC is another one that I like. We can see here that MATIC is moving contrarily to the rest of the market. No consolidation, no corrections on MATIC right here. Look at yesterday's correction. The only thing that we did is, we got that spinning top doji, and we have nice continuation today. So MATIC is a good one. Let's see. We got an initial signal on MATIC on this candle actually here on the pullback. One could have entered there or waited. Yeah, and it just continued right on. We also had, let's see, not rising momentum here, so we didn't get in this area. Reversal baseline bounce right here. I wonder if, be interesting to see if bottom feeder signal here, but bottom feeder wasn't designed for anything but Bitcoin. So let's just keep apples to apples and oranges to oranges here. Why can't you compare fruit? Shout outs to Little Dicky there, guys. But again, I like MATIC here. This is overextended, obviously not the entry I'd be looking for. But again, good volatility, good short-term trading opportunities here, probably on lower time frames with alts. That's always risky, not only because of where you're holding your capital, but just due to multiple factors. But again, lots of people are going to do that. I like MATIC here. I think that individuals who are properly positioned are going to be in their positional trade here. They've likely hit TP1, TP2 maybe, holding on for that TP3 and just letting that baby rise. We don't have a reversal, nothing really indicative here. We need to see that crossover in that oversold territory. And sometimes when we hit that oversold territory, we can really get to go. But again, for multiple reasons, this is not the good entry.
All right. Yo, shout outs to Jason in the audience who just alerted me to the charts. Bitcoin just took a dump. It's down 6% in the last minute or so. Big fat dump, giving up all the gains from today's pump.
And there it is. Look right there. What's interesting to see is I'm looking at this right here, right into that liquidity zone, right below that previous level of support. And that immediate pump to the upside. Unfortunately, just based on experience, this thing is going to rise. I'd like to see a little bit more than a 50% correction. We do see this. It's been a while since we've seen something like that. Those are cool to see. Those are liquidation candles. So unfortunately, those typically do continue on. We'll see here. This will be an interesting chart to watch. This was a great sniper entry for anybody who set. And again, Bitcoin Trading Challenge has an amazing video on this. This is a strategy we've talked about a little bit before, and actually this is almost exactly like what we're talking about. This isn't the setup that I like to go for. Again, when I am using ISA spot in conjunction with volume, I'm really looking for dips like this, these big volume spikes and scalping to the upside, these dips like this and scalping to the upside. You can see where the green buy signals from my bot are excuse me, coinciding with volume spikes here again here as well. Green buy signal, green buy signal. But again, almost immediate retracement. That's the sniper entries. Unfortunately, this is likely going to have a little bit more leg to the downside. Let's see though. Again, I haven't seen one of these for a while. In my experience, these continue on down. So the fun thing about trading the chart that's in front of you.
Pretty gnarly.
Jason, I take back everything I said about the shooting star.
Pretty gnarly wick price action on the hour. Let's get into something in this vein. We're going to get to the next request. Shoutouts to Gusto. This next one, I'm going to move up the list just because I want to mention something about a Crypto Bull requesting for a Discord member. Someone by the name of Mania in the general chat asked for a look at SHIB. So indeed, let's pull SHIB up. SHIB USD. If you could, Justin, put it on the hourly. I want to show you something that happened a couple days ago. Flip your chart to the hour.
I want to point out something, or just mention one thing real quick here about
No
SHIB.
problem.
I have a family member that has been getting into cryptocurrency and trading on Coinbase, and it's no. I don't really think it's a coincidence. It's just kind of a sign of system failure. Where earlier during the news segment we were talking about how. Coinbase was, the most popularly downloaded app in the App Store, and the two are absolutely connected. The SHIB explosion and the Coinbase downloads are absolutely connected. And yesterday, a lot, you can go to Twitter and see this, but I know this just from personal experience. I know that that a lot of traders who were attempting to trade SHIB were getting their funds locked. They were trying to get orders filled. They weren't allowed to get their orders filled, and then following that, their funds were locked. They weren't able to they didn't even hold SHIB. Coinbase didn't even honor their buys and sells. But then they couldn't even use that money that wasn't invested in anything. It was on hold. Apparently that was cleared up last evening, according to the Twitterverse. But just
there was some serious calamities yesterday. Crypto.com, their platform also had a major system-wide outage, and I was also a victim of the outage. And I hopped into their Telegram, and people were flipping out. And most of the comments were like, "My man, I was trying to get out of my SHIB or into SHIB, whatever it was all SHIB people crowding in there, absolutely losing it." Because they were trying to pile out of the SHIB at the top or whatever it was, right? So, the system outages, they can be tricky, guys. With that said, let's give your thoughts on SHIB. I just want to point out one thing. You see just a couple hours ago to the left there's this crazy wick down. There's like a 22% correction before it ended up making this huge move up. If you saw that one dip below the baseline on your chart there. Just to the left. Nope, to the left of that.
This one right here?
Nope. Further, about 12 candles to the left of that. Right there, more further. Right here? That wick there. There's a 20% wick right there, and that was crazy. That was a bit of volatility over a very short period of time. Wicked down about 20% from the top. First it pumped and then dumped all the way, and then just kept marching up. Yeah. I was on the line with a bunch of SHIB people when that went down, and people were losing it. So big 20% correction to the downside, just to come rip roaring back a few hours later.
And it's funny to see that, like, that's the you can see obviously here in the chart how that was the herald of the end of this short-term price appreciation, right? So, we have this, again, big pump up to the upside. This spinning top doji really does tell that story right here, where we do have a little bit of continued price appreciation, but we just, you can see, look at, we have upwards momentum, and then you could, WADA TAR explosion is showing this as well, rising volatility. We're well oversold, or excuse me, we're well overbought on our indies here, and then we get that crossover right there really for the first time. And even though this is what's so cool to see, even as price is rising, look at what the indicator is doing, and you get that bearish divergence right here on the top where price makes a higher high, but look what Fisher Transform is doing, makes that lower low right on that top, and it's just downhill from there. Correction, reversal, baseline, rejection. This is kind of what so earlier when I was talking about XRP and XLM. Thanks, RK. Not a coincidence at all. The bots are running in the background, bro. Bye. So right here we see not only that bearish divergence. This is what we want to see. This is the setup that you guys want to be looking for if you guys have been watching the show the whole way through, on that reversal baseline bounce excuse me, not reversal baseline bounce, but that reversal baseline rejection or just re-entry back into the qualifying zone and confirm or continuation trade. We have examples of both here on XRP and XLM, or pretty much any asset that's looking like this, where we can see that we don't have that initial dump. This is not our trade, guys. There are traders who are able, who their edge is catching this. It's very unlikely in my experience that you're ever going to build a system that does that, right? Again, you know, I don't want to be negative here, right? But I've been doing this for a long time. You know, I've applied my trade. I've applied my trade in the markets through multiple through different markets, through different sectors, through different volatilities, through different assets. It doesn't matter, right? And you know, I don't always make the most money, but I continue to make money. I continue to grow my equity curve. I continue to grow my portfolio. I continue to sleep well at night. And you know, again, as exciting and awesome as this stuff is, the viewer is going to be pouring in, you know, because they see this is a live Bitcoin show, wanting to see that 6% correction or hear talk about it, right? The thing is, you know, it allows me to really not I don't want to say not care, that's the wrong word for that, but not dramatically be affected by it. Because it doesn't really have a large import on how I play. We do, yeah. Jack, you and I got to spend some time figuring out my white over black. It's displaying as black when it moves on the chart. My mouse cursor.
Yeah, I suppose it's not super consequential because you have the axis lines there that trail you as well. It's pretty clear where your mouse is. But nonetheless, I suppose that was your look at SHIB for now.
Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
Just a couple quick things, sir. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. So just a couple things here that are really beautiful to see. The setup that you guys are looking for here, again, as I said, this is not our trade. This is our trade when price goes back up, and we have multiple strategies on how to get into these trades. Obviously, we have the reversal baseline bounce right here, or the reversal baseline rejection inside the qualifying zone. Again, what are the confirmations that you want to see there that make this trade more likely for success? If you're using a centered oscillator, whether as a confirmation indicator or as an initiator, you can see that price is below the 50 line here, or below, it's in bearish territory. So that's perfect to see. You have price appreciating, but yet your initiator and or confirm, whatever your centered oscillator is, it's telling you that price is not back above where you want to see it, right? So right there on the candle that strikes the baseline from the downside, or just flip this if you're talking about a trade to the upside here, this is giving you confirmation that the trade is to the downside. Again, same thing here on Wadatar Explosion. Even though price is moving up, we have falling momentum. We have falling negative delta. You normally, obviously, you want to see rising negative delta in the direction that you want to trade, but for the purposes of seeing that in a correction, this is just perfect to see. Then let's switch over here a little bit real quick, and actually on this candle right here, so 2 hours ago, almost 3 hours ago, we have this candle right here where you have, again, remember, for a continuation trade, you don't need rising volatility. You don't need that because often trends can proceed on low or falling volatility or volume. But for the initiation of a trend, you want to have seen that signal, and you really have both right now. So this candle right here is a continuation trade. You have negative delta above the explosion line, and again, qualifying line doesn't matter for continuation trades. And you have that cross under. Let's just zoom in on that so you guys can see there. On that candle right there is the cross under. And right there is your continuation trade. So you could have been catching this last leg. And with this rising momentum, I really wouldn't be surprised to see this continue down a lot. Again, this doji candle really spelled it all. We have bearish divergence, even though price is continuing to rise up, and then massive sells coming in. So good opportunities for individuals to have been sold out. So the lesson here is, in the future, when you see a meme coin or something that's a hot stock tip, right? And it's just going and going and going and going and going. And you kind of you're not going to see this on the daily. You're never going to catch these moves on the daily. But on the lower time frames, you see a massive fucking move like that. Pardon my French. And then you see divergence coming in, and the size of the candle bodies gets smaller and smaller. It tells you something isn't quite right. It tells you something's about to change. Something's about to break. And break it did.
Excellent look at SHIB right there in the midst of, well, some serious market price action. Let's get into another request before we wind things down. Augusto FC. Hey, actually, we looked at that one already. Next one up is XMR. A user by the name of Rocket on DLive wanted to look at Monero. Yeah, Monero is certainly worth a look. I haven't checked it on Monero in a while, actually, and I'm pretty sure Justin's a fan.
Yeah, I like Monero. I've got my fingers in a few Monero pies. It's a great privacy coin. It's the standard for privacy coins. And just, I mean, overall, like Monero has, well, if you go to IRC, Monero has a good community. So I'll not speak ill of the Monero ever. It's in fact, just looking at how development kind of proceeds here, it might be a very significant option. For lots of capital that is in other less privacy focused coins. It's just obviously it's
Leader.
Monero,
Market leader.
it's just it's absolute leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those, listen, like right now, let's talk about this, right? Have a quick digression on this. Right now, the pressure isn't felt. It's not like the standard is, oh my God, they're watching everything you do, right? People feel relatively safe just sending kind of currency around with Bitcoin or whatever it might be. But in the future, if we continue to see these rising trends, which honestly I think we will, but things will get worse before they get better. They always do. If we continue to see these rising trends of surveillance, of bank accounts being locked out, all kind of in the expressed purpose of making sure that taxes aren't being evaded. That's just, keep in mind, that's just the powerful squeezing every last drop they can out of those less powerful. That's all that ever is. That's all it ever has been. Monero is going to become more popular by default for its ability. And so will Zcash. I'm a huge fan of zero knowledge proofs. Loved my interview with Silvio Macaulay. He invented the programmatic function of zero knowledge proofs. Go check that interview out, guys. If you just want a little bit more of a dive into particularly Algorand, but also just the kind of the function of privacy and security, democracy, honestly, in cryptocurrency and how that can be instantiated. So looking at the chart, all right, Monero has corrected off of a nice run up here to the $500 mark. Dropped down here, had a big correction, honestly, almost a 50% correction back down to the 225. I think this is a nice sweet buying spot for Monero, honestly. Just from the longer term fundamental view, just looking at the chart right here, anytime after a 50% correction is generally a good time to start lining your pockets. Doesn't mean we can't dip more, but again, I do like Monero. I think it's a good coin. 50% corrections from the top are typically buying opportunities, guys. Come on, like if Bitcoin dropped 50%, would you buy or would you be scared? Most of you would, get this the wrong way, but I hope most of you watching would buy because that would be the thing to do. Like history has shown that is what the thing to do is. So keep that in mind. Looking at the chart here, unfortunately, we do have the daily setting up for a continuation or reversal baseline short because price is not closing above the baseline right now. We do have the candle body violation, but we have that nice that green trade okay signal that's coming in from the baseline indicator, letting us know that we've kind of exceeded the candle body violation. A couple bad things here. We don't have negative delta. We don't have negative delta from Wadatar explosion. So it's just not there, which makes this a high risk, i.e. we don't recommend them. Reversal baseline rejection short. We also don't have, remember I talked about this with Shiba Inu just a second ago, we don't have that centered oscillator down there in the form of the Fisher transform on the negative side of the zero of the 50 line of the zero line, confirming the price is indeed bearish. So this is a no trade zone. There's nothing to do here. The trade to watch for is for if the short is going to develop. You need these things to repurpose to the downside. We need maybe, and it might happen tomorrow if we get another red candle. We might continue to see the Fisher transform drop here. I don't see. Let's see here. Honestly, there's a little bit of I don't know. There's no divergence here. Just a little bit of confirmation. We do have the bullish divergence here, where price makes a higher, a higher high, but the oscillator makes a lower low, a higher low, but the oscillator makes a lower low. So bullish divergence there led to this little brief uptick. Market correction did catch up Monero as it did with most high liquid coins. So yeah, I think the trade actually here is going to be to the upside. I would be watching for that break above 270, which where the baseline's sitting at. Average price right now is about 270.75. So I'd be watching for that break above 270 and looking for that continuation trade to the upside. Right now, I really wouldn't touch this unless it's probably going to take probably see on Monday, Tuesday, if we are going to develop more negatively and looking for that XMR short, which of course you can do, but for the reasons listed ad nauseum here, not the direction.
All right. No trade XMR. Let's continue. All right, I guess we can squeeze in another one. We're just going to go to the top of the hour. Shoutouts to BFlow in the live chat as well as Anywhere. Anywhere it says, I'd rather have Darrow and Epic than Monero. BFlow writes, bro, they're trying to tax people at $600 and you think they're going to let Monero fly? Maybe if you move to Switzerland. I'm actually with BFlow on this one. I understand the logic behind, yes, there is probably going to be, more and more demand as more and more people realize how important privacy is in the space. Most people are in unawareness, I think, right now, just how open these ledgers are, and yeah, there will be demand for privacy in the future. My fear is the government will not let this fly. Now, I'm a good boy, I pay my taxes, I can get on with the system, I think, no matter how oppressive it becomes. And so for me personally, guys, I'm with BFlow. I don't think the opportunity is going to be in the privacy coins. I think they're going to get further marginalized by the governments, by the regulators. We're not going to be able to enjoy and partake in these things, not unless you are, maybe a dark web type. Not to cast too many aspersions, but guys, that's my logic for thinking Bitcoin will prosper. Privacy features, not so much. Yes, I'm very cynical as to how far the government's willing to go, so I'm with you, BFlow. Let's get into the final request of the day. It's MIR for Patzel. Mr. Patzel, in the YouTube chat, MIR. Justin, you might have to load up ChartX for this one.
ChartX is loaded. Oh, I got a 502.
All right, one more time. Refresh this baby.
Boom. We're
beautiful.
Here.
Something called MIR. I got this.
Mer.
Yes, I had this airdrop to me at some point. I think I sold it.
I think that's the sound. I think that's the sound I make when I've had too many old fashions. Mer. All right. Let's see.
Zoom. You might put this on the daily. Wow.
Well. That's called a market buy, guys.
Yes.
It's called a P&D. Okay. Let's see here. Well, okay, so a couple good things, a couple bad things. Let's just talk about the structures of P&Ds here real quick. And then, let's start off with the chart. You'd probably have to resize me. Oh, I can't full screen this, sorry. Okay, so let's talk about just what we got for chart structure here. We do seem to have support here established at $2.50 below that, which is also the previous highs of kind of the launch of this token over here on Uniswap's liquidity. Keep in mind, anytime we're talking about a Uniswap coin, we're not talking about just a centralized exchange, regular market function movement. We are talking about, irregularities and differences. And just full transparency here. I am no expert Uniswap trader. There's liquidity that I've provided on Uniswap. I was a Uniswap user since the early days. I love Uniswap, love decentralized exchanges, but they're just different. Impermanent loss is something that I haven't been able to develop a strategy to get away from. So I kind of got away from doing the liquidity provisioning that was previously a little bit more successful. But moving on from that. Okay, so decent support level. Again, a similar play like, AGLD did something like this a while ago. And that along with Alex was a position that I got into, still actually holding that AGLD. Go AGLD. So there is just your basic return to support, scoop up the price. Again, this is the realm where my expertise fades a little bit. Again, obviously potential fat fingers. There's lots of Ethereum network stakes. What's the volume on this? Only 157,000. So it says liquidity is 2.38 million. To good luck with that. Again, when you have daily traded volume, let's go over here. Yeah. When you have average volume around 5% of total liquidity, you're going to get, you can get some pretty big price swings, as we can obviously see here in the charts. These aren't the plays that tend to work for me. Again, this is just not my realm of expertise. So the only thing I can really say about MER here is that just coming off the highs, you've had a massive correction from those $13 levels. There are obviously instantiated buyers down here in the $2 to $3 range. You can see that from the support that's been put in. And obviously there's interest in buying, as you can see from either the fat fingers or from those big candles to the upside. But the problem there also lies, well, let's see here. Let's run through the psychology of somebody who is on the other side of that green wick. They are not going to want to sell at a massive loss. So likely they are just now trapped buyers that are trapped up there in the $8 to $11 area. That does create opportunity if the troops can be rallied and if the volume can increase here and price does start rising. And that actually gives you a really good 5x opportunity there on the table, anywhere from a 3 to 5x there. So let's say you scoop this up. You want to be looking to take your profits before those meaty parts of those wicks. And really, you can see that the volume is actually less right here. I'm going to put my cursor over this candle. The scope's up to about 1050. And these smaller little baby candles. So conservative targets would be looking to take probably 50% of your profits out here at about a 2x here, around $485. Getting it around the $2 to $3 area. And then, you know, if you're a little braver, just be wary once you start to get to this area right here around $9, and particularly, God forbid, if you get up to that $12 area. I don't think that's likely to happen. You know, because as little as there are, just any instantiated traders that purchased in this area, which there are, and instantiated traders that purchased here or here, they're going to take that once, you know, sitting through the gut wrencher like that, seeing your average buy and drop down. They're going to be looking for opportunities to get out. So that's not changed. Nothing new under the sun there. So I do think that MER, based on the charts, is not in a bad area to be scooping up a bag here. Just again, you know, we talked about this, the venture capital style of trading here, you know, like money you can lose. This is a illiquid chart. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. But shout outs to the YouTube user by the name of, was it Petro? Petzl. There's your look at MER. All right, guys, that's it for today. We are pretty much gone a full 2 hours. Of course, Justin's first major appearance on the show in this new format. Very, very exciting. So I guess we overindulged. We went the extra. Well, it went the full 2 hours. Shoutouts to the mic maker. Sorry we couldn't get to Cardano. We'll give Cardano a look tomorrow. And Conscious Criminal says, I got to ask about Doge. I mean, did we look at Doge? I feel like maybe tangentially. What's there to say? What's there really to say?
I don't think, here, just pop up the chart. Meme coins taking off today, man. And honestly, I have to say it, you know, like, although this is not in our system's wheelhouse, I just completely, Dogecoin has been off my active watch list for a while, and by active watch list I mean assets that I actually trade with my daily system. But this is, you know, this is with the exception of the qualifying rule, looking good. I'm not gonna lie. Never underestimate the power of the ape. All right. Never underestimate the power of the ape. So that's all I'll say about Dogecoin right here.
Good.
Quick brief blurb on Bitcoin. Really good buyback here on BTC. More than that, I mean, 90% correction, 90% retracement on that level again. So again, unfortunately, in my experience, just that level of liquidity, or excuse me, just that amount of volume tends to proceed in that level. The daily trend is also the downside. But you guys know where I sit at. Here, I'm looking at the weekly. I'm looking at those higher time frames. And I do think that overall the Bitcoin chart, especially with Ethereum and all the stuff that's coming up, is far more constructive. We've got, you know, again, I do think, you know, and my holdings reflect this. I think there's more upside here. So maybe not in the next week, but we will see.
All right. Yeah, crazy. I'm just going to flip my chart on screen because I've been watching the hourly, including that crazy move during the course of the show. And it's crazy, got gobbled up, guys. I got my trusty baseline indicator up, as you can see, and check it out. We just closed that hour out, and it wicked right back up to get a close above the baseline. What a wick! What a wick! Currently getting a bit more volatility coming through. I'm going to be selling off, but man, a lot of flurry of price activity here around 60K even range. What comes next? It's never a dull hour here in the crypto space. Shoutouts to everybody who kicked it with us today. We are going to be heading toward the outro. In fact, you know what we're going to be doing, guys? We're going to be Let's get the cameras up into here. We're going to be switching things up a little bit. Justin, why don't you flip your camera on? We're going to move to the outro. Yeah, all our analysts are now getting their webcams out. Alex had his yesterdays, but I kind of neglected to put him on. We are going to start integrating this. So I'm going to briefly get Justin on here. He'll get his final thoughts. And yeah, good look forward to Jason and Alex as well getting their cameras out. We're going to make the show a little more personable. We have our analysts ready to greet you with the cameras. All right, flipping Justin on now. I see he just gone live. Justin, you're on screen. Do tell us what you think. You're looking good, guy. You're looking really sharp. New place looks slick. Did you just give that wall a fresh coat? Love the shade. Looks gray. Looks good. Looks good, dude. Love the spot.
So like, what's that from Aladdin? You know what I mean? Like, all right. Obviously, thank you guys for joining us for another breaking Bitcoin market update. Thanks to Jack for hosting and guiding us through everything, the news. Thank you guys for the amazing requests. It's been a fun day. Got to see some good volatility on the screen. Obviously, you guys know the traditional stuff. Jack will go over that here in a second too, but you guys check out our website, all the stuff that we have. We got a good Discord community. I do see a comment here from Verk. So shout out to Verk saying, where was Justin? I took a year-long sabbatical to focus on my family. We've talked about that a little bit ad nauseum, but we'll continue to bring that up. And yeah, this is not news. We have struggled with YouTube. We've struggled with shadow banning. We've struggled with all this kind of stuff. We're probably getting shadow banned just for saying that, huh, Jack? But yeah, always looking to increase our share. But we focus on things a little different than I think traditional crypto YouTubers do. We don't promote projects. We just don't get involved in a lot of the things that make your typical YouTubers popular. And I'd like to not think that that's due to lack of trying on our part, but we like to focus on content, and we like to focus on things that I think actually help and matter to people. And I like, my favorite thing to do is tutoring people and teaching people and helping people out, because this is a wild world to be in, and it's not good to be in there without any support. And again, I'm not the guru that I want people to kind of express me as. I'm just another guy here doing my thing. And I hope that people see that, and I hope that people just bring their best to the table and try to support us and support what we do. Again, just you guys can scroll back and look at what we were talking about with BTC, the Ethereum, all that stuff that we talked about today. I do think that this red candle is likely to see some more continuation. That's just a big liquidity gobble up. And again, that retracement's good. I like to see scalpers like Don Cannon in there. Good for you, man. Getting your system in and getting good trades in. I like to see that. Not the strategy that tends to work for me, but I'm different. So enjoy your guys's weekend. Enjoy your Friday. I will not be here on the show tomorrow, but I will be in the Discord, and I am in the studio. I prefer to call it the cave. Welcome to the cave. I'm in the cave working on new content, refreshing our content, and making plans for 2022. So guys, trade safely.
Sweet. All right. That's, of course, the Justin, the image and the voice of Justin, guys. It's so great to have him back on the show. Justin, of course, is going to be your host on Thursdays. That's right. We're going to be slotting in different analysts throughout the week. We've already talked about this, but very quickly reviewing. Tomorrow is Jason. Jason does Fridays and Tuesdays, and Alex will do Mondays and Wednesdays. So we're going to have a rotating list of 3 analysts. And yeah, this is really fun. It's been great, Justin. It's been actually a really fun show with you. I'm really going to enjoy the new format. I hope the audience does as well. There is a solid 2 hours installed for you guys. Do check out, of course, our premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. Check out all our offerings. Do check out, of course, discord.krakencryptocurrency.com for your Discord link. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Be sure to follow and subscribe, all that good stuff. Much love to you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Cheers.